It's time to start adding some data to our feature layers. So here we're going to add 2 Polygon features to our park boundaries feature layer using the ArcGIS API for Python. So open up the add polygon data.py script from the add data folder. The feature layer object has an edit features method that allows us to add, update, or delete features for a feature layer. Let's head over and check out the documentation for the edit features method. Here we have the edit features method for a feature layer object, and all the parameters are optional. The main parameters you would use are adds to add features to the feature layer, updates to update features within the feature layer, and deletes to delete features from the feature layer. Go and check out the other parameters in your own time. When we get to the attachment section, we will have a look at the attachment parameter. For now, we are going to focus on the adds parameter. The adds parameter takes a feature set or a list, and it is the array of features to be added. So we need to know how to construct a feature, and we're going to do that using a Python dictionary. So let's head back over to our Python script. We're going to add features to our Polygon feature layer, which is our park boundaries. I have a note here of how to construct a polygon geometry. It is a dictionary with a key of rings and a value that is a list of lists of lists. This allows you to construct single or multi polygons, and we are going to construct single polygons in our examples. We first access ArcGIS Online using the GIS class and supplying in the home string. We'll assign our GIS object to a variable called AGOL. We're going to use our GIS object and the content manager get method supplying in our feature service item ID, which I'll paste now from my notepad. The get method will return an item object of our feature service that will assign to a variable called item. We know our park boundaries feature layer sits at index 2 in our feature service. So here we are using the item object layers property and accessing the park boundaries feature layer. The layers property returns a list of feature layer objects, and we'll assign our park boundaries feature layer object to a variable called FL. Now remember, the documentation said that the adds parameter for the edit features method takes a list. It also takes a feature set, and we'll take a look at feature sets when we get to the querying section of this course. For now, we're going to focus on creating a list. Here we've set a variable called features to be a list, and within our list we have 2 dictionaries. If we focus on the first dictionary, we have a key called attributes, and the value for that attributes key is another dictionary that defines field name and attribute value pairs for the feature that we want to add. So we can see here we are using the park name field name, the park status field name. We're setting our park name to FDM park, and we're setting the park status to open. The next key is the geometry key. We want to create the geometry for FDM park. The geometry is a dictionary. That dictionary has 1 key of rings, and the value is a list that contains a list that contains lists representing the vertices of the polygon that we want to create. And we could create multi-polygon by adding in a comma here and creating another list of lists. But we are creating a single polygon geometry for our park boundaries. So the first dictionary here represents 1 feature that will be added to our park boundaries feature layer. We're going to add a second. Park name is made up park. The park status is who knows. Now I want you to note that who knows is not a valid code in our park status fields coded domain. But I want to show you that this is not going to cause an error, that you can programmatically overwrite domains using the ArcGIS API for Python. We then set our geometry for the made up park boundary. Now that we have our features as a list of dictionaries, we're going to use the edit features method for the feature layer object and add 2 features to our park boundaries feature layer. Here I'm creating a variable called status. I'm going to set that to equal feature layer object. And then I'm going to call the edit features method. And then we're using the adds parameter. I'm going to set that to equal our features list. We'll then print the status variable to the screen and we'll see what JSON message is returned. Let's run the script. Now I want to show you that we are getting an error. You see here we have the add results property returned in the JSON message. We're having object ID -1, which indicates an error. We can see success was false. We are getting an error code that we cannot insert the value null into column area HA. This is because our area_HA field in our park boundaries feature layer cannot be null. I'm going to add in area_HA into each attribute's dictionary and just set it to 0.0. I'll do that for FDM Park and for Made Up Park, and I will rerun the script. Now if we look, we have our add results. We did get success true, but I want you to note it started at object ID 2 rather than 1. The failure from the last run took up object ID 1. Anyway, we now have 2 new features added to our park boundaries feature layer. So let's head over to ArcGIS Online and check it out. Here I have the home page for our Park Trails feature service. I'm going to click into the Data tab. I'm going to go to our park boundaries. And we can see we have 2 features added to the feature layer. FDM Park and Made Up Park. The area in hectares is 0 and 0 as we set. And the park status we have open and who knows. Now I want to go over to the fields on the left. I want to click into our park status field. And we can see that who knows is not a part of the domain. We were able to inject it anyway. And if I go into area hectares, we can see that nulls are not allowed. So we had to add a value for the area_HA field name. If we go to the visualization tab, we can see that the green polygons are the 2 park boundaries that we added. Please note, I am making up this data as I go along. It is not real data. These are not real parks. But we have successfully added 2 polygon features to our park boundaries feature layer using the ArcGIS API for Python. In the next video, we are going to add some park trails as polylines. Make sure to continue on to the next video in this series and also make sure to subscribe. Take care.